Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wake Up Report. And I am back after a forced hiatus because YouTube, in its infinite wisdom, blocked me from uploading shows for all of July because they said two of my shows, one was identified as hate speech, and the other one was identified as bullying, which is a load of crap, and I'm definitely going to talk about that. With that being said, some of the shows that I am going to do are kind of dated, but there are things that I still wanted to talk about. So, I'm going to put those shows up. And I guess in the meantime, I will deal with something current. So let's go ahead and run with Baltimore. You gave it a good try, Baltimore, but alas, it did not work because, as you know, niggas will corrupt and destroy everything that they come into contact with. But not only niggas in Baltimore, apparently crooked cops will corrupt and destroy everything that they come into contact with. So Baltimore, I don't know what to tell you between your wild ass shooting, killing, looting, stabbing, hell-raising niggas and your crooked police. You guys are caught between a rock and a hard place. You got it coming from all sides, but the attempt to try to curb the violence in Baltimore for one weekend, it is a shame and a disgrace that you have to beg black folk not to kill each other for 72 hours, never mind the fact that that 73rd hour is going to be off the hook because they're going to get right back to business. But that is what happened over the weekend in Baltimore with a Stop the Shooting, Stop the Killing rally where people just said, look, can we not kill each other for one weekend? Can we have a weekend that we can report no killings? And you almost made it, but not quite. Two shootings, I believe, and one resulted in a killing. And aren't you the guys that killed Lure Scooter, aren't you? Yeah, that is Baltimore, isn't it? I did a show on Lure Scooter, talented up-and-coming rap artist who tried to participate in curbing some of the violence in his city, and not 1 hour after he participated in a Stop the Violence rally, someone shot and killed him. So, Baltimore, as is Detroit, as is Ohio, as is Chicago, as is everywhere where black people reside in large numbers, we have to make a hard and cold decision about what to do about these wild niggas in our society. And I'm telling you, as I've said before, they are not going to stop. They are not going to stop. You are going to have to stop them. And what does that mean? Well, what it means for me, quite honest, is you start shooting back. Most of you know who's involved in all of this killing. Most of you know the people who are involved in all of this senseless violence. And you do nothing to protect your communities. You do nothing to protect yourselves. Baltimore, as it has been discovered over the course of the last couple of weeks, you can't depend on your police department because those good cops won't turn in those bad cops. And even those cops who know that those cops planted drugs on innocent people will not fire all of those cops. The whole department, just like most of Black Baltimore, needs to be razed. It needs to be destroyed and rebuilt from the ground up. Now, you do realize, and this is not just Baltimore, this is everywhere in the United States, that you do have the constitutional right to bear arms in the face of tyranny. You do have the right to patrol your neighborhoods with shotguns. You do have the right to protect yourself from threats, foreign and domestic. And we got a whole lot of domestic, I call them domestic terrorists, basically. We don't need to worry about foreign terrorists. We got plenty of domestic terrorists running roughshod through our neighborhoods. And you have the right to protect yourself from that. The Black Panthers did it in the 60s when the racist cops were just beating up on innocent black people, and the Black Panthers used the Constitution to their advantage, which gave them the right to patrol their neighborhoods armed and ready to deal with trouble if trouble came looking to start something. So you have that right to do the same thing too. If your cops try to fight you on that, you have the right to fight back. You have the right to push back. That is really the only way that this stuff is going to right itself, I guess, because when you finally push decent people to the point where they have to start pushing back, you got a problem. And that's what the police are supposed to be there for. They're supposed to be there to make sure that that breakdown between, I really don't want to call it anarchy, but civil war, I guess. That you're dealing with a civil war situation. You're dealing with, it's blacks versus niggas. That's what it is. And if you want to keep that from exploding across America, then you need good cops. You need honest cops to do their jobs. What you don't need are cops that want to create tension by planting drugs, by brutalizing people. Now, of course, you know me. If you're a criminal out there and the cops get a hold of you, you deserve to get your ass whooped. Black cop, white cop, I don't care. Instead of planting drugs on you, they need to plant them boots up your ass. So that I don't have a problem with. But once you start getting dirty cops in the mix, man, it's just going to be a flat out free for all. And I should say, too, that it ain't just the blacks versus the niggas. It's the blacks versus the niggas versus the crooked cops. And that mix has been playing itself out across the country for about 5 or so years now. It is time to deal with everybody when it comes to this. We should not be reporting the same stuff year after year after year about cops planting drugs or cops beating up on innocent black people, and then black people killing and shooting each other, and then those people that are killing and shooting each other are blaming the cops when the cops kill and shoot them, and the black parents are some black thug that's out here causing trouble. Well, they want to call the cops racist when the cops shoot that thug, but then the innocent black person who a bunch of crooked cops decide they want to railroad starts planting drugs in the cars and dope in the alleys and stuff like that. So it is leading to a complete systemic breakdown, and you got to do something about it. Now, one thing I will say to all of you black people out there in Baltimore who marched, and all you blacks who march across the country regarding this issue, particularly those of you who I refer to as 90s babies. You can do all the marching you want, but you can't have it both ways. See, you can't march and call for an end to violence and we don't want any more killing. Please stop killing for 72 hours and blah, 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 and all that stuff. Well, see, you can't be for nonviolence, but you listen to some of the most violent music ever created. All of your Kodak Blacks, all of your Tenacion, all these people, all of them who promote violence and drug dealing and drug selling and calling each other niggers, and all they talk about is shooting each other and killing each other and all kind of acts of violence that they perpetrate on each other, and they put it to music and they give it to you, and you drive up and down the street bopping your heads to it, and you're going and supporting these clowns, making them rich by buying their music and going to their concerts. Well, when those kids duplicate the very thing that you support, should you be surprised at all the shooting and the killing? So you can't have it both ways. You cannot be against violence, but be pro gangster rap, pro negative images, pro calling each other niggas, and all of that nonsense. So you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to speak out against that stuff. You're going to have to stop supporting that stuff, and you're going to have to move on to something better for your communities. What you're doing right now ain't cutting it, and it doesn't make sense to have peaceful marches and rallies against violence when you support the most violent music ever created in the history of Black America by Black Americans. For Baltimore, Freddie Gray was a drug dealer and a criminal. And the reason he got arrested and subsequently died as a result of him getting arrested was because his criminal past finally caught up to him. There was no reason to burn down your neighborhoods because you supported a criminal. Not only did you support a criminal, but your idiotic mayor at the time supported a criminal by suggesting when you were burning down your neighborhoods that maybe we should give black people some space where they can loot and destroy and tear things up. Stop supporting criminals first, and the crooked cops will take care of themselves later on because they won't have a reason to come into your neighborhoods and cause trouble. And when they do come into your neighborhoods and cause trouble, you will have them dead to rights. Michael Brown was a thief and a bully, and he assaulted a store owner after he stole repeatedly from his store. And when the cops showed up and he tried to resist arrest, he got shot and he got killed. I don't care what his mama says, and I don't care how she wants to try to build a fake legacy on her son, because she doesn't want to accept the fact that he was a thief, that he was a bully, that he got caught stealing, and that he died as a result of his actions. Learn to accept responsibility for your actions and stop trying to make martyrs out of criminals. Seville Smith was a repeat offender, a convicted felon who had an illegal weapon on his possession at the time the police were chasing him, and the video shows him running with a Glock pistol with an extended magazine in it. He got shot and killed as a result of him being a hood rat, hoodlum thug, and you people who live in that area want to paint him to be some type of a martyr when he was a thug, when he was a criminal, and when he would eventually have wound up killing someone innocent. You still would have tried to support a thug and a criminal. Learn to accept responsibility for your actions. Seville Smith would be alive today if he turned his life around and he stopped being a hood rat thug gangster that listens to all that hood rat thug gangster music that you people like to support, but at the same time you want to condemn the violence when it finally happens in your areas. Baltimore has shown that despite the peaceful attempts, that despite the pleas to stop black people from killing each other, come to the table and let's figure out something better to do. Despite all of that, these niggas will not stop. And if they will not stop, it is time to seriously give thought about stopping them. And I mean stopping them permanently. The road to peace, unfortunately, means that sometimes you have to go to war. Black America, there is no future for us with all this nigger crap. It is going to destroy us. It is time to go to war against these niggas. This is KTM and the Wake Up Report saying think a little bit. It will do wonders for you.